So, as you may know, we are about to reach the pinnacle of the Lionsgate portal. The Friday that's coming up, 8/8, is when everything will be fully open, and it's a great time for manifestations and working on different parts of yourself, right? So, opening your mind and opening your spirit and transmuting these things that we want to see come forth, in our bodies and in our lives. And so I'm going to pull a few cards and we'll pick three. And so, whatever is if you feel called to, what feels right to you is sort of what you want to be kind of working with, right? So, I'm going to be using this deck here. It is the deck of the Wandering Moon, and it's absolutely lovely. So I like that it is black and white, so there's not a lot of distraction within the deck. The messages that are communicated with this deck are very easy to understand and interpret. They're very simple and they're very clear. So, and this deck is a little bit oversized. You can see how it fits in my hand. It's a little bit of sometimes a struggle to shuffle with, but we're going to make it through. So let's concentrate on the numbers 8 and 8, which is interesting because when you combine 8 and 8, you get 16. With that, if you take 1 and 6, you add that is 7. And then if you go 8, 8, and then you think of we're in the year 25, so 2 plus 5 is also 7, which gives us 14. And so just some interesting numerology for my numerologists out there that want to play with numbers. So, all right, so I'm going to cut this into 3 stacks. 1. All right. I like to pull from the bottom of the deck. This one I'll pull from the center, like this one, and this one I'll pull from the top. All right. So we have the 8 of Swords, okay? And whenever we have the 8 of Swords, we need to think of what are we keeping ourselves locked in? What are these patterns that we have ourselves trapped in? So it can be a measure of protection that we are wrapping ourselves around different ideas and tropes and ways of thinking in these different patterns. So we have this sort of spiral, or we can think of this black hole. How do we break free of ideas and these elements that we have, these walls that we've built around us to keep us safe? But when they start becoming, toxic maybe, or they start becoming, they don't serve us any longer, how do we break free of that? So if that is you, and that's also an 888, right? So if that's something that resonates with you, how are you going to break free of these patterns that you've put in place for yourself? Kind of consider that. Center here, we have Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords. So again, swords. Swords is a sign of strength, and swords represents to our community. They represent communication. They represent air, and the way that we present in the world, and our talking, our speaking. What do you need? So aces always begin. So this is a new beginning for you. Time to take up, the sword and start. This is a new journey. And as you travel on the path, it's time to really deep dive into your intuition and your heart, and pull up, as people say, bootstraps all the time, but this is more of a courage and a bravery that that you didn't know you had, to do the things that are really calling you to overcome and be the person that you've always needed and wanted to be, not for anybody else, but for yourself. So think of it as a gift from the universe. And then finally, we have the moon. So this is about deep truth, and this is a full sturgeon moon. So these are all actually really perfect for this time. Um, so the full moon, it's about who we are when no one else is around, right? Um, we have all a private life. We all have a private side of ourselves, our innermost being. Again, so sort of like this, we protect that place. It's maybe a very private place, right? um, this is a good time to really get in touch with yourself and in touch with your heart and in touch with that person and visit those deep places and spend time there and enjoy those pieces of you that make who you are, and deep dive into your creativity and enjoy those kind of secret moments with yourself and cherish that. And this doesn't mean, you have to run out and tell everybody, who you are, but it's about, developing that serious, deep sense of self and gaining that intuition and that insight into your truth and who you are, and coming sort of online for yourself. So as we go through, and maybe all these relate, to you. So as we go through this portal on Friday and into the full moon, the very full moon on Saturday, consider that your reality is what you make it, because it reflects your external reality, reflects who you are inside. Um, let that begin your venture as you go forward, beginning on the next week. And don't be afraid to break down walls and boundaries.